everyone, Sarah here from the Paper Cut. We are doing our birthday sliders and flippers class today. Hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties. We did have some yesterday for the first time. So we came back to our original setup, and so we're hoping my phone isn't cranky today. So anyways, if we do shut down, we will tell you on the computer that we're having technical difficulties, but we will be back, so just hang tight with us. If you're missing anything, let us know. I can't get you the thing through the phone, but just let us know and I will send it to you through the mail. If you're new to the group, I do go kind of slow. I repeat things 3 or 4 times because there's a little bit of a lag between when you ask questions, so feel free to ask questions and we'll get to them. And if we don't get to your question because it has to do with a product or an item number, then I'll type that response later. But it is a little lag time between when you ask the question and when it actually comes through the computer. So that's why I repeat things. I show you a little bit of products, so then I have time to see if anybody has questions when we're on certain steps. So we're going to start out, and I'm going to show you the cards first, and then we'll work together on the cards one at a time. So here we go. This is the magic card. So I'm just going to show you all 5 cards first. So the magic card is that. Then we have the slider card. So that one's a little dimensional because the front of it pops up. Then we have our triple tier slider card. Is it on there? Okay, so then we have the triple tier slider card. Then we have the flip-flop card. So I did pick all cards that have like moving things. That's why it's called movers or flippers and sliders. So sometimes those can be a little difficult, but we'll get through it together. Then we have the flip card. So we are going to start out with your magic card kit. So pull out, and it says magic card right on it, and it has like this girl printed in it. Sorry, I gotta stay in the frame. But it has this girl in it, so you're gonna pull out this piece, pull out your piece of acetate, pull out your magic card die cut piece. And some of the littler pieces you can leave in there right now, but you will need this piece for sure in the beginning, and then you will need your scallop circle. While you're pulling that stuff out, I forgot to pull out a scallop circle, so I'm just going to go out of frame for just a minute and get the scallop circle. Okay, so we are back. I'm going to show everything down here, and I'm going to try and turn it upside down so it's facing your belly. So, but first of all, I'm going to show you what's in the magic card. So in the magic card kit, you get the magic card die cut. People ask, do you have a die for that? This we don't have a die for because it's almost on a 12 by 12 inch sheet of paper, and a lot of people don't have a machine that can actually cut a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So we just have those pre-cut. And then you also get half sheets of cardstock. They don't come pre-printed, they come blank. So you get that. You get acetate, which the acetate in the package is an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So it actually tells you to cut it down. So for the oval, which is what we're working with today, it tells you to cut it 4 inches by 5.5 inches. So you get 4 of them out. With the rectangle, which the rectangle is our very original magic card, that one actually tells you to cut it at 4.25 inches. But the reason we did it a little bit smaller is because then this overlay that we already have can layer on the front. So with the oval, you cut it down just a hair smaller to 4 inches by 5.5. Now for getting our image on here, I kind of cheated. I printed the image with a laser printer on the acetate. However, when you're doing just one up or a few of them at home, you're going to use StazOn and you're going to stamp your image on the acetate. You want to just kind of pay attention that your image is kind of centered in your window or wherever you want it in your window. And then you're also going to stamp your image on your cardstock. For placement on your cardstock, you want it just kind of in the middle. You don't want to stamp your image too low because you don't want your acetate hanging off the bottom. So I already pre-stamped and colored our images. Now, if you took the Magic Card class, our very first one, you will notice that I had a lot of tape on things. But since a lot of you have done that, I'm making you work a little bit harder. For those that haven't done it, you just get to follow along, and I know you can do it. So, in the video that I told you what you needed, I like to use a 1/4" tape, or even a little narrower tape. You just don't want, oops, tape gun. You just don't want a bigger 1/2" tape. Okay, so you want to keep it at like a 1/4", or sometimes those snails have like a 3/8 inch. So as narrow of tape as you can use is what you want to use. Now, for how to attach that, line up your image so the image lines up, and then you know that that's the front of the acetate, and then we're actually going to turn it over. So line up your image and then turn it over. And then you're going to put, and I'm just going to show you on this white paper, because then you're going to put tape on this very top edge. Now you don't have to draw a line on yours. I'm just showing you where your tape goes. You want your tape as close to that top edge as possible, and that's on the back. So you start out with your image so you know what the front and what the back is. Then you turn it over, you put tape on that very top edge. Now you want it as close to the top edge as possible, and you want a narrow tape. Then you turn it back over, start lining your image up at the very bottom of your image, and go all the way to the top. And then by the time you get up here, your tape will stick down. Okay, so again, we lined up our image, we turned it over, we put tape at that very top edge, turned it back over, line up your image starting at the bottom, so starting at her toes, you're going to line her up, and then stick it down. Now I'm going to finally do mine. Hopefully you're done with yours, or you're getting there. So I put tape at the very top. Again, my black line there is just for you to see what's going on. So, and it is harder to line up upside down, but I'm going to do my best to line up upside down. And then by the time I stick it, should be totally lined up. So right now I have my image stuck to my cardstock. Now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim. So I am going to trim and I'm going to cut flush with your acetate. Now if you like to use a personal paper trimmer, you can go ahead and cut that with a personal paper trimmer. I find it hard to see where the acetate starts and stops, so I like using a scissors, and I'm just going to cut flush to the edge of the acetate. So cut all the way around. Don't cut any acetate off, so you're just cutting flush with the acetate, and do that all the way around. So you're cutting all the way around, flush with the acetate. I've got one more trim, so this is where it's attached. You want to leave that on, so you're just cutting flush with the acetate. So now we have our image attached just at this very top edge. Now we are going to cover up this tape line, and you can use anything. You can use just a piece of paper. Right now you are using one of our die cuts. This is from our word layering die set. So poke out your little pokies at least on one edge. And I'm going to lay that down in front of me. Okay, I'm going to take my image and I am just going to attach it at the top. Now to do that so you get it straight, you want to set it down, put tape on it, and then I can line that up just slightly below my other edge, because then I'm going to just cut that off. But then I can see that I have it on there straight. If I'm just doing it willy-nilly like this, I can't tell whether I'm straight on there or not. But if I turn it upside down and I put tape on it, I didn't get my tape straight, then I can look at it and tell that that top edge, so it's face down because I'm putting my border up here, and I can tell that I'm straight, hopefully. My eyes are seeing correctly. Once you do that, you're just going to, again, follow the edge of your cardstock and snip that off. Now you can use just a straight piece of cardstock up there. It's not important. You just want to use something that coordinates with your image, because that piece of cardstock up there is just to cover up our tape line. In the olden days, we all used to use decorative edge scissors. Now everybody uses dies. So, but if you have decorative edge scissors, I still use mine sometimes. So I like to cut something a little bit fancier up there. So now we have that. Now you should have a scallop circle. This is going to be your pull tab. So I'm going to put tape on half of my scallop circle.
Can we buy this as a kit?
So this one does not come as an almost done card kit, but you can get it as a blank. So it doesn't come pre-printed with everything and all the pieces. I just did that for the class. But it does come as a kit. The magic card comes as this 8-count kit. And then we used our word layering die set. And we also used one of our large oval overlays, which I'll talk about those a little bit later. But let's go back to our card. So I put tape on half of my scallop circle, and I'm attaching that to the back. So you see about half of it. So if I turn this over, face down, I'm just attaching it at the back, and it's about halfway down from the top edge. If you have too much sticking up, then it'll stick up too high in your card and it might not fit in your envelope. So I put it a little bit less than half. And since I was doing mine backwards, I can't see. So let me get that right on there. Okay, so now we have this piece. We're just going to set that off to the side for a minute. We are going to pull out our die cut piece. This is your belly. So you're going to set it in front of you and make a T with your belly. Okay? Then the other piece you need is the eye-shaped piece, which yours is white. Don't look for an orange one. I just did an orange one, so then you weren't looking at white on white. So you have a white piece like this, and then you have a little piece like that. Those were cut with our slider die, which is this die right here. So it cuts this eye-shaped piece, and it cuts this piece. Yours also have tape on them. On one side, they have tape, and then on your little band, it has tape. If you're missing the band, it's very easy to cut it out of one of your scrap pieces of cardstock. So that's basically all it is, except this little band has two little scores on it, so it wraps around. So I'm going to show you how to wrap it around, because you are going to take your little white band, you're going to wrap it around. Now, you have brown paper on one side of your band, or on one side of your eyepiece. So you have brown paper. You want to be on the opposite side. And I'm just going to take my little band that already has the tape on it, and I'm going to fold it over one side. Then you're going to peel the brown backing off. Then you're going to fold this side over. And then it's actually a little bit long, so you can snip that extra off. So again, you have your eyepiece, you have your brown paper on both ends, because that's where the adhesive is. Turn it over, take your little band, and we're just making a paper loop. So this paper loop, we peel the backing off, And then we fold it over. This is a little longer right here, so I'm just going to take my scissors and snip that off. And then we have our adhesive right there. So this piece slides up and down. This is our paper loop that slides up and down. So right now we have adhesive on one end, and then on our paper loop we have adhesive on both ends on one side. Turn it over, we have paper or adhesive on our loop on the opposite side. Okay, now just in case you were missing your band, I'm just going to take another scrap piece of paper and just show you how easy it is to make it. So I just take it, fold it over. You don't ever want to fold it tight. You don't want it real tight on here, so I always allow extra space. Fold that over. And so you're not going to put two of them on yours. I'm just showing you how to make your paper loop in case you were missing your little band. So then I cut that off. When you have your paper loop, you just want to make sure there's extra space in there. You don't want your paper loop really tight because it will get caught going up and down. So now I'm cutting off my secondary paper loop. You don't cut off your paper loop. Okay, so this is our slider and our stop. This piece is our slider. This is our stop because it stops it from pulling out of the card. Now, you're going to attach that. So we're going back to our die cut, and your belly is right here. So in the upper right hand corner, you're going to take the backing off of your adhesive, which I didn't put adhesive on mine, so I'm putting adhesive on my top and bottom. You already have adhesive there because you had adhesive with the paper backing. So you peel your paper backing off, put it in the upper right hand corner, and then it attaches down to the bottom. So when you're attaching that, attach it flush with your upper right hand corner, push it straight down, and it should line up right with the bottom. If it's sticking a little bit off the bottom, trim it off. You don't want this to have a buckle there. So if you did not have it perfectly at the top and then you try and stick it perfectly at the bottom, you may have like a little bump there. You want it totally flat and then trim it if you need to. So I'm going to take this one away. You're going to attach it in the upper right hand corner and then down to the bottom. So I've got tape on mine. I'm attaching it in the upper right hand corner and then just pushing it flat all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to take my paper loop and push it all the way down to the bottom. So your belly is right here, and this is what you should be looking at. Then I usually take, now we're back to our acetate piece. I take that and I separate. I use my forefinger and I separate my acetate from my cardstock. Okay, so separate that. And then I'm just going to show you this way, and then I'm going to turn it back around the way you are. But from my belly, and I'm looking at my T, I'm just sliding my acetate onto my cardstock. And the girl is upside down. So I'm going to turn her back around, and I'm going to do it upside down. So I separated it, and then I'm sliding it on. So this is what you should be looking at. You should be looking at the girl upside down in just black and white. And only push it up to your score. It might slide past your score, but stop when you get to your score. Then you're going to fold it up and flip it over, and you should see the girl in the window in black and white. Now, if we pull up, she appears colored up here. She does disappear down here, but she appears colored right here. So now we're going to turn her back over. Now, make sure she's centered left to right. Now, sometimes, if you used a wider adhesive, let me just backtrack a little bit. If you used a wider adhesive, you may see some purple up here. And that is because she's not allowed to go down on this piece far enough. So you can trim a tiny bit off of here. Like when I say a tiny bit, just trim like 1/8 of an inch. Or she's not going down far enough because it's a little bit long on the bottom. So if you know you used a narrow adhesive, you also could take a small trim off of here. When you trim, I want you to only trim, and you might not have to do it at all, but I only want you to trim off a tiny bit because you can't put the paper back on. So this is where we're at. Again, I separated my cardstock from my acetate. I slid it on. You're seeing her upside down. I folded it up. I picked it up and made sure it worked. And then I put it back down. Make sure this piece is centered left to right. Make sure your slide piece is all the way at the bottom. You're going to take your paper backing off of your slide piece. Make sure your slide piece is centered left to right. And then this piece, this little slide piece, is going to end up attaching right here, approximately. When you pull your card up, the slide piece is going to move up at the same time. That's what stops it from coming out, because this slide comes all the way to the top at the same time this slides up, and it stops it from coming out. So that's why our slide has to be at the bottom to start with. So our slide is at the bottom. Our girl is there. We're looking at the back of her. We're just going to fold this piece in, give it a little push, which I'm not going to push on mine so I can take it apart. Turn it over. Again, pull up and make sure she works. Once you know that she works, then you can close up your card. So you're going to put tape over here. You never want to put tape all the way around, because if I get tape right here, it's going to stick to the piece that's supposed to move, and then it won't move, and then there might be tears. So you're just going to stick tape right down this edge right here, and then you're just going to fold that in. And then the base of your card is done. Then you can turn it over and go, yay, I did it. So fold that in. So tape right here, fold that in, turn it over, and then yay, it works. So our other pieces for our card are this large oval overlay. You have another layer that's going to go down on the bottom. Your Celebrate. So to attach these, this you're just going to use adhesive and attach it. For this piece that goes down here, which we're going to attach our Celebrate to, the Celebrate is longer. So I did cut off my Celebrate flush with the ends right here, but if you want to cut them closer to the C and the E, that's fine with you. You're going to pop your Celebrate out of there and just use adhesive to attach it. Then what's important is when you're attaching this to your card, you only put foam tape on those outer edges. If you put just regular adhesive right here, it's going to stick to your acetate, and again, it's not going to pull up. So foam tape on the very outer edges, and then attach that to our overlay. Mine isn't stuck totally down, but you're just going to attach that, and I obviously can't see straight when I'm working upside down. So you're just going to attach that, and then basically that is our magic card. So you can go ahead and finish that up, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the products. So the products that we are using is the oval magic card. This is an 8-count set. I know we get a little bit glare out here in the shop, and that's why we had moved up to the front to try and take care of that. So this is all blank. You create that yourself. Okay, so you use whatever image you have. The slider die. Now this, you can hand cut that piece. This makes it a lot easier, especially nowadays that everybody likes to die cut everything. That just makes it a lot easier. Our word layering die set, we used that at the top right here. And then we have our oval overlays. Now we have 3 sizes of oval overlays. This is the large oval. So if you're searching for it, search for large oval, because you want the large oval overlay that fits on the front of the oval magic card. So those are the products we used. We also have the rectangle magic card. So it gives you a little bit bigger opening right there, but again, it's a little bit wider, and it doesn't have an overlay that fits on the top of it. So I usually stamp on that or brush blend. So that is the magic card. I hope you all got that one. So now we are going to go on to the slider card. So this is the slider card. So you're going to pull out the one that says, I think it says Birthday Queen on it. So pull that out. So these are pieces that you have in your kit. So the slider card, it comes in a package like that, where it comes pre-die cut, okay? Which the pre-die cut piece is this piece. It's not stamped like that. This one is stamped, but it's pre-die cut. We also have a die for that. So the die for that is this die right here. And I'm just going to show you how to cut that first. So you're not cutting that because in your kit you already have one that's pre-cut. Let me pull my die cut machine over here. So anyways, the die is just like this. It cuts on 3 sides and then it scores. So I'm going to come over to my die cut machine. I'm just attaching it onto a layering swatch. So you can use 4 by 5 1/4, 3.75 by 5. Just make sure the cut is at the bottom because there's a score up here that needs to be at the top. So I'm holding it in place with a piece of removable tape. Normally I say when you're doing scores to not use the metal plate. I just don't happen to have 2 plastic plates out here because we do a lot of die cutting, so I just keep my metal plate there. So, but usually when I'm doing something with scores, I like to have 2 plastic plates because it just makes a better score. Oh, and I think that was a little light. So this is the crossover machine. We don't sell it, but you can adjust up your pressure. Yep, that was cut all the way through. So the die cuts on 3 sides, and then there's 3 scores there. So it scores it exactly like the card. Now this can go on the front of a card just like that. You don't need the longer piece that's on the other end. Our pre-die cut one just happens to be a little sleeve, so it could act all by itself rather than just attaching to the front of a card. So we are going to go to, if you pull this piece out, so this is our slider insert. Now we did pre-stamp this, and then we also took a 1 1/8 punch and punched a 1/2 circle up there. It could be a 1-inch punch. That particular day I could only find my 1 1/8, so whatever size, it doesn't really matter. But I did cut my circle out of the same size punch. Okay, so we need this piece. We're going to turn it over so the bump side is, or the indent side is down, the bump side is up. Now, on paper, there's always a bump side. You can actually feel that. So it actually feels where there's scores. So there's a score right there. And you can actually feel that bump, where on the other side is the indent. Technically, when paper's folded, the bump is always the inside, technically, and the indent is always the outside. If you ever give somebody a card and they tell you you folded it wrong, they are off your homemade card list, because it doesn't matter that much, but just technically from a die cutting point of view, the bump is always the inside. Okay, so if you put it with the bigger end pointing to your belly and your 1/2 circle away, so this is your belly, and then you need this piece right here. And on our sample card, like right now, if we didn't put anything right here, we would see this manila color. We put this yellow piece inside there. Okay, so when you're buying the inserts, depending on what color you get, You may have a lighter color that you can stamp right through onto it, or if you have a darker color, you're going to attach something. I just wanted to add a little bit of color. So you're going to take the You Don't Look a Day Over Fabulous, put tape on the back of it, so on the back of the whole thing, and then it actually attaches, if this is your belly, it's attaching upside down, and you're going to put it kind of right up to that score. And the reason you do that is because when you fold that up and you look through the window, you want to be able to read it. So if this is your belly, attach this piece upside down, which I'm going to do it with you, so I'm just going to grab another one. Put tape all the way around. And then attach it right up to the score and upside down and centered as best as you can. Okay, so now we have that. Now we are going to, the next piece that we're going to need is the Celebrating You. This is the piece that pulls up and down. So we pull it up and down. So to attach that, we are first going to fold on our folds right here. So if we take it and we hold it kind of up by our half circle and we can see our printed part, there's 3 scores here. You can kind of see your 3 scores. Well, this is the inside of it. You're looking at the other side. But you're going to take in the score that's closest to our half circle, you're going to valley fold. So this is a valley fold. So valley fold on that one. Then you go to the next one, which is about 1.5 inches up, mountain fold. Then you go down, and there's another one about 1.5 inches away, and I don't know if it's exactly 1.5 inches, I just guessed. And then valley fold. So you're making this little, I always say it looks like a little pup tent. So there's my little pup tent, my valley fold, my mountain fold, my valley fold, and this is the piece that slides up and down. So, and we just wanted to ease those scores so we don't have to do it, you know, after when we're putting the card together. We're just kind of easing those scores. So we're going to kind of flatten it back out, turn it back over, and there's a tape tab right here. So below this last score, you're going to apply tape. So just tape on this tape tab, and what's going to happen is our Celebrating You is going to flip over. So you should be reading the Celebrating You right now because your belly's right here. And you're going to flip it over, line up at this top edge right here, kind of just push it down, and it will attach to that tape tab. So again, you're going to put tape on your tape tab, which I'm going to go on my unmarked one. Don't have a lot of tape hanging out, because when you're doing sliding stuff, if you have tape hanging out, that kind of interferes with the whole sliding thing. This is another card that you really want the 1/4 inch tape. So we put tape on our tape tab, we have our Celebrating You, and you know, you can read it. This end is going to line up with this edge right here, so we're just going to turn that over and attach that, lining up our top edge, and you want it centered left to right. So we have our Celebrating You, turn it over, line up our top edge, push down, and it attaches to our tape tab. So you can test it by just kind of pulling up and down on it, and it will move. So I'm just going to attach it one more time so you can see. The tape came off. Imagine that. Okay, so one last time. We line it up, or we put tape on our tape tab, then we turn it over, line up our top edge, make sure we're centered left to right, push down. Now we need to fold up our card. We're out in our shop, so if you hear that, that's our air conditioning going off. So now we're going to put tape down each side, and we want to keep our tape close to the outer edges. Again, a 1/4 inch tape would be good. If you have a wider tape, it's better to go off the edge a little bit and then just roll that in, because you don't want to be too close to this piece that's moving, otherwise it won't move. So like I've drawn on here, you're going to put tape down one edge, tape down the other, and I do it all the way from this score all the way to the top. So tape down one side, tape down the other. So tape down one edge and then tape down the other. You would rather be closer to that edge and have to roll your tape in a little bit than closer to this. You don't want tape interfering where we're going to slide, so you're better off putting your tape a little bit off the edge and then rolling it in. Then all you're going to do is fold this up. So tape down the two sides and then just fold. So I put my tape down the two sides and then I'm just going to fold that up. Then we have our slider. Now we do need our little circle there. So we're going to put tape on half of our circle. When I attach it, I go a little bit lower than half. And if you want to test exactly how much, you can kind of set it on your A2 card. You don't want it sticking up too much higher than the top of your A2 card, because otherwise it won't fit in an envelope. So I'm going to take tape, put tape on my circle. Again, if you have tape hanging out, you want to roll that in, and you're just going to attach that a little bit lower than half. And then that should slide up and down. If you have any tape hanging out, which I could feel that I did, you just want to get that off of there. Then this piece attaches to our scored card. Now I have it on an A2 scored card, which is scored here. You can also put it on a steno card, which folds up here, and then your card would open the other way. So it would open the same way the card is, pulling. Doesn't matter, either way. So we're going to put tape on the back. And I do put it all the way around. Now this is a little sleeve. So you actually don't technically have to attach it to a card. You could just have a little slider sleeve like that. Or you could put it on a scrapbook page where they could pull up and see a picture there and a picture there. I've put gift cards in here. So if you're going to do a gift card, it actually has to sit underneath there, and then you have to kind of use your fingers to pull it down the first time. This looks about a gift card size, but a gift card works really nice in there. You just have to jimmy it in there a little bit, and when you pull it down for the first time, get it to go past the gift card. So anyways, just a little something, a few other things you can do with it. So now I did put tape all the way around the back, and I'm attaching that to the front of my scored card. Now, two more things on this card, or actually three. We're going to attach this gal to her pink layer, and the birthday queen on the yellow piece, which I can't seem to find mine right here, and it doesn't really matter, it's okay. I did take and trim, just randomly I trimmed that. So I hand trimmed that, and I just kind of followed it to make it a funky shape. So you can do that. You can attach the birthday girl, birthday queen onto her pink piece like that. And then you can also go ahead and put tape on your little, or foam tape I should say, on your little pink piece. And I always put my foam tape on my outer edges. This is kind of like the magic card, where if you put foam tape on the inside or any tape on this inside section, it's going to interfere. So right now you can attach these two pieces together. You can cut out your birthday queen, and you could put foam tape on the back of your pink strip. So when I am attaching to the front of my card, I always like to do that in the up position. So I call this the up position. If I do it in the down position, sometimes I could tape my card shut. So I like to do it in the up position, And when you're putting tape on the back of this piece, you only put tape on the bottom third. So if I go up too much higher than the bottom third and get tape up here at the top, when I close my card, it's going to stick my card shut. So be careful to just put tape on here on the bottom third. Then do it in the up position and don't put it any lower than the score. Also, if you do it in the bottom position, you could do it below that score. So in the up position, you don't have to worry about going past that score. So put tape on the back of here on the bottom third, put your card in the up position, and attach that layer. So tape on the bottom third, put my slider in the up position, and then just attach that layer. Now, I don't have a birthday queen cut, but when you're attaching the birthday queen, only put tape behind what's going to attach to that cream. If I had tape behind here, like behind the N and the Y, it's going to stick to the card. It's going to stick my card shut. So always make sure that you only put tape on the back. And this one I did pop up with foam tape too, and I also put some pink gems. You don't have pink gems in your kit. That was kind of a last minute thing. And then I did use a little glitter, so you can glitz her up as much as you want. Go to the down position, and this pink strip that we're going to add on, I always put foam tape on the back of there. So if you want to put it, it's kind of covering up this little slit right here, and you can kind of make it even with the bottom of your image right here. But if you do want to bring it up over the bottom of that image a little, then put double foam tape. So do 2 layers of foam tape. On this one, not sure if you can see that, I put 2 layers of foam tape in there. So depending on where you're putting it, it never hurts to put 2 layers of foam tape to pop that up, because then it won't interfere at all when it goes up and down. But you don't need to if you're putting it a little bit lower on there. So, but always make sure to only put your foam tape at the sides, because you don't want to interfere with that sliding mechanism. Same with the magic card, foam tape at the ends. So, and then we have our slider card. So, you also need to be aware of where your words are in here, because you can't put this up too high that it'll cover up your words. So there is a little bit of thought sometimes to where you have to place things, and you know, if you're putting strips over the top of it. So, slider card. Now we are going to go on. So the slider card we used, let me just go through those while you're finishing up. We used our slider die cut, or the slider die to cut your card. So either way, this die is a pretty easy die to work with. You just need to make sure it's straight on the paper if you want to go that way. All right, now we will go to the flip-flop card. So pull out the one with the brown and the blue. Okay, so pull out your long brown piece. The long brown piece is actually 22 inches long, I think. And lay it out in front of you. So if you are right here, just have to think, this is your right side. So the panel that has nothing on it, no scores, no circles, that your biggest panel on the right hand side. And then you have your 3 circles, and you have a small panel on the left hand side. I drew that there so yours won't have that mark, but you're going to pull out your overlay, and I will get to how to cut this in a little bit. We're gonna get pieces attached, and then while I'm explaining cutting and stuff like that, because this comes with no circles in it, we cut those for you. I'm going to show how to cut any shape, because you can do any shape right there, but let's get some pieces attached to it and you can be coloring while I'm showing you if you want to. So you're first going to attach your oval, or your oval, I'm going to show you an oval, your circle overlay onto this second panel in from the left. Okay, so it doesn't actually even fit on any other panel. So this is the only panel it fits on. So go ahead and attach that right there. So after that's attached right there, then you can flip it over. And now the biggest panel will be on your left, and you need out your candle layer, and you need out these two smaller layers. So first you attach this piece on, then you can flip it over, and now on the right hand side you have the smallest panel, on the left hand side you have the biggest panel. You're going to attach your candle piece right here, and that's the only panel it fits on. And then over here, let me explain. I gave you two pieces that both have words on them. Now, on one of my samples, I have one word shown through the window. On my other sample, which I don't know where it's at for the moment, I have the other set of words. So you can use either set or either word. I just gave them both to you, just so then you could maybe use the other word, you could cut it out and use it somewhere else on your card. So let me get this folded and I'll show you what the other word looks like. So the other word, the happy, happy birthday, you'll cut off a little bit of that top happy. So either word you can use, the other one is just for you to cut up and use somewhere on your card. So I didn't mean to confuse the situation, but either one of these will fit here. So attach your candle layer over here, attach one of your word layers over here. Your other word layer just put in your envelope and you can do something with it later.
Do you sell the pre-scored cards?
Yes, we have this pre-scored card. It's called the flip-flop card. We have these in white and Grocer Craft, and I'm going to actually show you how to die cut your circles so they all lay on top of each other on a white one, because I need to work on a white sample. So anyways, now let's go to assembly of this. So looking at it from this side, on the middle panel, so this panel right here with the middle circle, these are scores. You're going to put tape all the way around this panel. So put tape all the way around this panel. I'm only going to put a tiny bit of tape because I tend to take this one apart to show you more than the other ones. So once you get tape all the way around, this is a valley fold, and you are just going to fold that over. And that is going to attach to where these X's are right here. So you're just going to take that panel, fold it all the way over. And then this score right here, you're going to fold back. So let me do that again. So you put tape all the way around. Then we're going to take that panel, and it's going to make our two circles line up. Fold it over. Then there's a score right here, and we're going to fold back. Then all three of our circles are piled on top of each other. Now, the one thing that we can do, we can use this magic card slider on the inside of this card, and it kind of acts as a guide. So it's on the inside, and it guides that to flip it. So again, you're going to assemble another magic card slider. Now yours is this Grocer Craft, and then you do have a tan little loop, but I'm just going to take a white loop so you can see it a little bit easier. So again, you have tape on one side of yours. Hang on, I gotta make my X's. So you have tape on one side of yours, turn it over, and I already have a slider on mine, but I'm going to show you in white. So we have our little paper loop that has 2 pieces of tape on it. Yours is brown, but I just wanted you to see better, so I'm showing you with the white one. So you're just going to set that in the middle. There's 2 scores on there. So we take our paper loop. This is the exact same thing we did with the magic card, because this is the magic card slider. It's just another way to use it instead of just on the magic card. And then we're going to peel our paper backing off of there. Fold it over. It is a little bit long, so you can snip that off. And then you have your paper loop that slides all the way. So I do have 2 paper loops on here right now, and just so you can see it on my card a little bit better, I'm going to take my brown one off. So you leave yours on. Don't cut your paper loop off like I just did. So now we're going to take our slider and we're going to attach it kind of right up to that score. Don't go past the score because it'll buckle a little bit in there. And you can go higher or lower. You just don't want to go past right here because you don't want to see it. And then if you push it down flat and it attaches to the other side, it will stick off slightly. Yours will stick off a little bit more than mine because I already trimmed mine down once. So that you might have to trim that edge. So you want this flat, and then you might have to trim a little bit because you're going to start attaching it from this edge, and you don't want to go past that score because there's a score right here. So you don't want to go past that score. Then you want your little paper loop all the way to your left hand side, all the way to the opposite side of the candles. Okay, so have your paper loop there, have it centered top to bottom. Now, what's going to attach to the paper loop? This piece that is moving on the paper loop is what's attaching to that. So we're going to fold this piece down. Our paper loop actually attaches right here. Or I moved mine on this sample a little bit up, so it's going to attach, right there on today. Yesterday I did it a little bit lower. So now we're going to take the backing off of our paper loop, make sure it's centered and all the way to the left, away from the candles. This piece is folded in, and then we just fold our card in half, and our paper loop attaches to that piece. Now, I will take it apart for you so you can see it again. I'm going to go all the way back. So we originally put tape on here. We folded that over. Then this score, so now 2 circles are piled on top of each other. On this score we fold back. Now our 3 circles are piled on top of each other. Then we put our slider on there. Line it up with our score but not past it. Put our little stop all the way over to the left hand side. Fold this flap in because this flap is what needs to move with our slider. Our slider, this is going to fold over, and this is going to attach right there. And then voila, we have our flip-flop card. So, well, now you can go ahead and color things if you want. In your kit you also have the birthday and the happy and 2 pieces of yellow. So you will have to trim off a little bit of your beginning and end of birthday. You'll have to trim off a little bit of happy, and we gave you just 2 pieces the same size, so that one you're going to have to hand trim just because our trimmer can't cut that small. And then you also have 2 pieces of blue. Those were attached inside here. So again, color your candles, our little blue, And now you don't have this stamped in there, but I did give you both of these stamps so you could cut a shape or you could attach it wherever you wanted to on the card. Now I'm going to go on, while you guys are coloring or cutting your birthday and you're happy, I'm going to go on to showing you die cutting of the shape. So I have a white one here, and I already cut a piece of pattern paper to fit on the front. Now when you're putting your shape on there, you want it off to the right edge, and it has to be no wider than this panel right here, because this is the panel that slides in there. So it has to be off.
Left edge.
Oh, left edge, sorry. But your die has to be on your right edge. So anyways, I'm gonna first die cut my shape on my overlay. And I cut my overlay. You can make it, I use different sizes for my overlay. I've been using a lot of 4 by 5¼ as my biggest size. Then we're gonna set this on here. Hold it in place with removable tape if you want. I'm gonna take a pencil and just trace that shape. Now, our shapes are on all 3 of these panels, and they all have to line up. So if I take and I fold this one under, I can cut these 2 panels both at the same time, if my die is fairly sharp. If my die's been used a couple hundred times, which some of mine have, it doesn't always work, but we're gonna do it. My plate's getting a little dirty. So now I have those 2 cut, and now I need to get that same shape on this panel. To do that, I'm going to fold that under because I want it to be right there. So it's this panel right here. If I just fold that back, I'm going to draw my circle, and you can't see it because that'll be on the inside. And my removable tape. So now I have my 3 shapes. Now, for attaching your pieces, or your stamping, because you're stamping, I gotta turn this upside down. Oh no, I didn't do that right. There we go. There we go, Sarah. Okay, so now our candles were right here. So I can actually take, and if I have a word that's small enough, I can go right through that window to stamp it, which I did grab a word that was small enough. If I don't have a word that's small enough, I can just take a pencil and make some marks. So I have my one word. Now we need to get our other word right here. So if I line it up with that window, make sure I'm not upside down. Yay, they work. So now we have those two. Now this is just a really quick impromptu card that I wasn't planning on doing, and I didn't show the people yesterday because I just did it with our brown, but I need to make a white sample. So there you go. You get Sarah on the fly. Okay, so one more time, tape on this panel, and I don't have a slider to finish putting this one all together, but you'll get the gist of it. So that one goes there, that one goes back, piles everything on top of each other. Oh, Wendy's gonna get me a slider piece to put on here. In white though, I need white. Sorry, I'm being like, I need a white one. Because this is gonna be a final sample, I don't wanna do orange. So again, we're taking our slider piece. Oh, this one already has one on it. Look at that, I got spoiled. So we're going to put that. Now I have to go a little bit lower because my shape is an oval and I don't want you to see the slidey piece. So attach that to that side, all the way over to that side. Then we're going to trim this off because remember I said it'll be a little long. Then you push your slider all the way over. Peel it off. Fold this piece in. Fold it over, and then voila. So I do have to finish the rest of this card, but yeah, that's my impromptu sample for class that last night people didn't get, especially because we were having technical difficulties, so I wanted to finish as fast as possible. So now we are on to our triple tier, so put that one away. We are on to our triple tier slider card, which that's this one right here. Okay, I don't think I need my die cutter anymore. So pull that out, and I'm just gonna first explain, oh, and I was gonna, tier 2 is the middle. Tier 1 is the bottom. And then, so I'm just going to explain how I'm setting this up. Okay, so when I'm first setting this up, you're going to set it up in front of you. So your tape tabs are on the right hand side and the bumps are down. So tape tab is on your right side, slits are on your left side, and your bumps are down. And I'm going to tell you why that's important. Because the slits are in slightly different places on both of them. So you have a bigger space on the bottom and a smaller space on the top. That's on our biggest one. On our middle tier, it's a very slight difference, but these slits are, the space right here is slightly bigger than the space right here. And the reason is, and you can see it more on this one, the bottom of this one is going to end up lining up with the bottom of our slits or close to it, and that's your bigger space. And then it will pull up further on the card. If we did it opposite, it's going to stop sooner and you're not going to see as much. So when you set it up, you're going to set it up in front of you. Right now, this is your belly. Your tape tabs are on your right, your slits are on your left, and your bumps are down. I am going to have you put the Miri Sparkle piece on this front one, the Miri Sparkle piece on this middle one, and this little chevron piece on your top one. So go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to pull my pieces out, but don't put everything on just because we're going to go to assembly, and especially don't put the extra pieces on here, and I'm going to explain why later. But put on your Wild Orchid Miri Sparkle piece right here, and then attach that right there. And I'm going to pull mine out, and I'm going to kind of do that with you. So your big Miri Sparkle piece is going to go right here. Your medium-sized Miri Sparkle piece is going to go right there. And then your chevron piece is going to go right there. So go ahead and tape those. And I'm doing it with you, so go ahead. If you are much faster at taping, you can go ahead and stick your, you either have a cupcake piece or you have a popsicle piece. You can go ahead and stick that on the front of there. But for sure, the biggest layers on all 3 tiers. So I'm going to take my printed ones away. And so this is what you should be done with now. Okay, so I'm just going to write on mine for a little bit while you're catching up. Because these are on the inside of my card, I can get away with this. And I did forget one piece, so I'm going to go out of frame. You guys work on that, talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. I'm back. Okay, now you have 2 of these tape tabs that are white. I am going to use green ones just so they stand out and you can see what's going on. Okay, so for this triple tier slider card, we do not have the die for that. The die, Divinity Designs does have a die for this. It's a bigger die set. We just have the pre-cut paper. We saw them do it and we said, hey, do you mind if we do the pre-cut? And if you guys do the die, we do the pre-cut, and they said great. So they do have the die if you want a die, but it is a bigger die set, and then we have the pre-cut ones that come blank. So now I am going to have you turn it over and turn it over. And again, I'm just going to draw some stuff on here so you can see what's going on. We have our scores. And then we have our slits. much for drawing straight while you're watching me, right? Okay. So now we have our little bands. These are scored twice, and again, yours are white. We are gonna just slide those through the slits and put it all the way at the bottom of the slit. And then you fold it in, tape goes on top of your band, and then you're just gonna fold that over. And that makes, and we hand cut these so they're not perfect, just so we could show you with green instead of white on white. So you're gonna do that on both of them. So slide your band through there and put tape on top of your band, and you can put it on both of them. Then you're just going to fold this over. Mine stick off a little bit, so I'm just going to trim those. No big deal. But again, fold it over. So you have your bands, and these are like our magic card bands where they're sliding up, but instead of an eye-shaped piece, there's slits in the card. So again, you're going to put them at the bottom. And you're putting them at the bottom because the space is bigger at the bottom. So put them at the bottom. Then we are going to start with, and actually, we're going to start with our little tier. But before we do that, we're going to put, this little tab on there. So you can use anything. You can use a circle, you can use an oval, you can use a balloon, you can use whatever you want. I just gave you a piece of Miri Sparkle. You're going to fold that in half, tape it in half. So tape the whole thing. So tape, fold it in half. We're making our own little pull tab. And then we're just going to attach that to the back. Now you can stick it up or down as far as you want. This folded card size right here, that is an A2 card. This makes it a little bit bigger so it doesn't fit in an A2 envelope. However, with all the bulk in here, we just thought it fit in an A6 envelope better. So we could have made it shorter to allow for room up here, but we just thought there's too much bulk here, so it just fits better in an A6 envelope. So you can go up a little bit higher if you want than that. But this outer side right here is an A2 size. So we're gonna just put tape on our little pull tab and attach that, kind of how we did on our magic card. It's attached to the back. Okay, now this piece is going to go inside here, and you're going to attach it face up. So you're going to put tape on your band. So tape on your band. You don't have to put tape here yet, but I'm just getting myself ready. So tape on your band. Then you're going to line this top edge right here up with this top edge right here. Put your band all the way at the bottom. So this is your sliding band. Line it up. Make sure it's centered between your two scores. Line it up at that top edge. And it is face up. Just believe me, it's face up, not face down. So attach that. And now this piece will pull up and down, up and down. Now we're going to fold, but we have to fold on that score. If you just willy-nilly go to fold it, it kind of wants to fold at the slit. So you really want to make sure that you fold at that score. We're going to fold it in. So we're going to fold it in like that. Now if we just turn it over and look at it, we see the front, and then we pull it up. We see the next tier. So this is our middle tier, this is our top tier. You're going to turn it back over. Now our tape tab, we're just going to fold in, and tape goes on top of our tab, and it folds in. Now, I did have one made when I was mocking it up without a tape tab, but it really stressed my tape right here, and it popped open. So I felt the tape tab just gave you a little bit more strength so it wasn't going to pop open. So you're going to fold your tape tab in, put tape on top of your tab. And because there is a lot of bulk, you know, you did see me put 2 rows of tape there because I was using a 1/4 inch tape, and I believe this is a 1/2 inch tape tab. So I did put 2 rows just because I want to use a good adhesive right here so it doesn't pop open. Okay, so then we fold, and that just attaches to the other side. Give it a nice good push. And then we have that tier. So we have our middle tier and our top tier so far. Now I'm going to move this one down a little. So this is our front of our card, which is our tier 1 or our bottom. Again, we have our little band here, and we're going to put it all the way at the bottom. Again, it's the bottom. We know it's the bottom because our bump is here and our bigger gap is right here. So this one is going to attach right here, and then we're going to pull it up, and it has more room to go up. Where had we had it upside down, we wouldn't have been able to see as much of the card. So we're going to put tape on our band. So put tape on that band, and then again we're going to line up the top right here with the top right here and make sure it's centered left to right. So line up our top. Oh, I didn't do a very good job putting my little pull tab on there. Surely put that on there and not centered. Okay, there we go. So line up this top edge with this top edge, center it, and it is face up. And then that's going to stick to your little band, and it slides up and down. Then again, we're going to fold this one over, but if you just willy-nilly fold it, it's going to want to fold at your slit. So you want to really fold it at the score. You want to fold it at the score, and you're going to fold that in. Now we can flip it over and test it. We have the front of our card, our top tier, our middle tier. Voila! And we can push them back down. Again, your band will be white, and you obviously won't have all of the writing on the inside, but then you can kind of see what's going on. Now we have our tape tab. This tape tab works the same. So we fold it in. We put tape on top of the tape tab, fold it at this score, and attach it. So again, I'm going to use 2 rows of my tape because I want a strong adhesive right here. And I'm just going to fold that in, give it a little push, and that makes our triple tier slider. Now, the reason I did not have you put all of your layers on to begin with, because I just wanted to talk about them for a minute. Once you pull it up, you lose a little space there. So had we put our layers on while it was open or while it wasn't inside, you might have lined it up centered and then they would be lower. So if you want to center them in this space, it's easier to do it after you pull it up, because then you can see how much space you have. Also, it's important to make sure that these are attached all the way. If they're loose at all, they could get stuck. So you want to make sure to have enough adhesive, especially on the bottom edges, and especially if you're doing die cuts, that they don't get caught going up and down and on anything. So if you're a foam tape girl, and you all know that I am, don't put foam tape on these 2 layers. Put it on this front layer and just pop the heck out of it if you want, but don't put it on these 2. Put these on flat. So while you are working on that, I'm going to show you a couple samples. So that's our triple tier slider. It comes in a 5-count package right now. It's under die cut cards. So die cut cards and kits on our website, or I think you can just type in triple tier as 2 words and you'll find it if you're searching for it. Or slider. There's not a ton that come up with slider, I think. So anyways, we have that. Let me show you a few samples that I did yesterday. So we have this one with the snowman. Now, what's really nice about some of the pattern papers that are out there, they're two-sided. So you don't even have to think about what to put together. You can just take that paper and use both sides of it to use on your different tiers. So this one I used, this green Miri Sparkle is called Sea Glass. That's a discontinued one. It is on the sale page of our website right now on sale. And once it's gone, it's gone. So that it's a really pretty green, but that's on the sale page of our website. And then I used some of our Miri Lava on there. So that's one sample that I did. And then we have this one, which this one, the front of this one was the inspiration for one of our Christmas cards in a Christmas card class that we'll have coming up, and it'll be a Christmas card kit. So because the pieces were all pre-cut, I just kind of took some of those pieces to make this slider card, or triple tier slider. So that's using our blue Miri Lava, silver mirror card, silver mirror sparkle, and some ice silver stock. Again, like I'm a bling girl and I would have put bling on here, but I didn't want to put bling on the inside layers. And I made sure to attach my words down really well so they don't get stuck going up and down. And then I used my foam tape and my bling on my outside. So those are a couple samples of the triple tier slider that I made. So watch for more coming. So, are you all caught up? Anyways, let's go on. The last card is the easiest card. That's why I'm going to leave you with that one, because you can work while I'm talking. And the last one is the flip card. So, with the flip card, I did give you this front part pre-printed that you're coloring. I gave you this part pre-printed that you're coloring. I did not pre-stamp your outer edge. Now I do pre-stamp a lot for you in this class, but this one you have to mask it off, which I'm going to show you how to mask, and then you have to stamp it. And this would be something like if I'm teaching in person, you would be stamping yourself. So I figured you can all do a little bit of stamping. You can all do a little bit of work. So you're going to stamp that or brush blend it. I'm going to show you how to mask it off and show you some different things that I did for layers. So in your kit, I gave you, you do get one folded. I have polka dots on the back, so you can use whatever stamps you want, but it does come pre-folded because it just fit in the package better. So you're going to open it up. Okay, and then I did give you 2 post-it notes. And I use my post-it notes for masking all the time. So I'm just going to mask off that middle section, so just kind of weave it through there, kind of how we weaved our bands through our slits. And then use another one to mask off the other edge, and then you can just go to town. I did use pink and green ink pads, and I stamped, but if you don't like the pink and green, orange and green, I'd never put orange and green together like this. I don't know why I did, but I just did. But if you are like, I don't like the orange and green, I want to do different colors, like you could color your cake, hang on, I'll back up. You could color your cake a different color, and you could replace, the green with blue if you want. So if you like other colors, you have the sizes for this, and you can cut different layers and color it and stamp it however you want. But once you have it masked off, then you're just gonna brush blend or stamp. Like this one, I stamped I took a random stamp, I stamped a bunch in green, and then I stamped a bunch in orange. This one I did just polka dots on the outside, really simple. one that I did yesterday. I just did some brush blending on there. So you're just gonna do whatever you want. So all of your stamping is on one side of this card, except for, so everything's on one side. This is your inside, but then you have your inside and your outside. The other one, the other side is just this. And to fold this card, it's one is folded as a valley, one is folded as a mountain. So it's that simple. Now this was the original, so you can go ahead and just do whatever you want to on your border and then color as I yammer on here. But this was the original flip card. We did this a long time ago. It's an A7. Before Flip It Dies or any of that stuff was out. This is our very original flip card, probably from 20 years ago. So it was way before anybody else was doing flip cards. So, but we only have it in this A7 size, and then we started doing the Z Fold cards, and we just never got around to doing this one in the A2 size. Now this one is on sale on our sale page because we were going to get rid of it, and then we decided, maybe we won't get rid of it, but it's still on our sale page, so go ahead and go to our sale page and you'll find the flip cards there. So anyways, that is the class. While you are finishing, I am just going to show you some other things that we have going on. So we have a couple craft alongs coming up. So this is our gnome craft along. This one is at the volume event, which is the volume event. I'm getting confused on when all these events are. This one is Saturday, July 24th, which you can order this kit and then make these with me. I'm also going to demo, more of our stair step cards. So this is our slimline card. We now have some slimline overlays with the triple windows. So we're going to be making this in that event. This one will be a Christmas card kit that you can get. I've got a special set of gnome word stamps that are all these words on here, and then the gnomes are from Rubbernecker. So, but I'll have a kit that you can get the gnomes, the gnome dies, and the word stamps. Or if you already have the gnomes, you can get just the paper and the words, or just the paper. So this will be a Christmas card kit. Anyways, that's the 24th. August 1st is the OOAK event. Okay, and we are doing, oops, one of my witches lost her legs. We're doing a finger card. So that's the finger card with the little monsters. So a finger card is also one of our older cards. Before pop-outs were a thing, to make your own little pop-outs, we had the finger card. So I'll teach you how to do that. This is actually a piece of paper that's 17 inches long. So we'll assemble that. And then we have our simple pop-out die, which we did cut a pop-out. Okay, which leg is missing? So I'll be teaching you how to use our pop-out insert die to make this card. So that's on August 1st. Both of these are on our class page to order. Then a couple more things. Cascading card kit. So I am doing an event tomorrow, which it's just a video event. That's on the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo at home page. I think I'm on at 2 o'clock Eastern, which would be 4 o'clock Central, which would be 5 o'clock, no, 2 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern. And that's on the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo at home virtual event page. So I'm going to show you how to use our cascading card kit to make a cascading card. Again, I had the gnomes all pre-cut, so I thought, I'm going to use them on a cute little Christmas cascading card. Then, next class will be slimline cards. I'm still working on them. I did show this one. This one, since I had the little monsters pre-cut, I made it into a shaker card with our overlays for our slimline cards. So I will get, this will be a few days and I'll get that whole class posted up on our website. Without looking at a phone and calendar, I'm pretty sure it will be the Friday the 30th and Thursday the 29th of July. Oh no, it'll be the 30th, which is a Thursday, and the 31st of July, which is a Friday. That's when the Slimline card class will be. Then the next class after that will be the Christmas card class. So, anyways, thank you for joining me today. We'll see you later. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, bye.